Good morning. Hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to start off by doing a warm up to just kind of practice the skills that we have been working on. So go ahead and find your answers to these first two problems, and then we'll get started on our new unit. Okay, so our next unit that we're covering is going to be dealing with congruent figures. It's going to be dealing with angles and side links and angle theorems. So we're going to start by looking at congruent figures, how to determine congruency, and how to use our information of corresponding parts to be able to find missing side links. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is congruence, okay? So in order for something to be congruent, that means all the sides and all the angles are congruent. So if you look at this figure, it tells you triangle ABC and DEF, and you'll see that they are showing you which angles are the same based on one line, two lines, or three lines, and same with the sides. So let me actually pull up my screen so I can emphasize this just a little bit to you. So if you look, it is telling us that this angle and this angle are the same, okay, because they have one line. They're saying that this angle and this angle are the same because they have two lines. They're saying this angle and this angle are the same because they have three lines. They're saying that this side and this side are the same, again, for one line. They're saying this side and this side are the same for two lines. And lastly, they're saying that this side and this side are the same because they have three lines. So congruence is basically taking a figure and figuring out which angles and which sides are going to be matching up together. Okay, so if we're looking at this, we're looking at congruent parts. Okay, they tell us that the side LM and BC are the same. So because of that, AC is the same as MN and LN is the same as BA or AB. Okay. Here they show us that the highlighted ones are the same. So X and O are the same. So if you were to kind of twist that green figure around, you could line up that LM and ZW are the same, or ZY and MN, or XY and NO. Okay, so it's just being able to identify what parts are going together. Again, here's another example. Our side is the same here. We've recognized that the double lined angles are the same. The single lined angles are the same. Okay, so we're just identifying what congruent parts are there. So here I'm going to give you guys a chance to try this. Okay, there's not going to be a right or wrong answer, but just pause for a second and look. Angle B is going to be congruent to which angle on this blue figure? And EF is going to be congruent to what side on this red figure? Okay, so hopefully you were able to see that angle B right here is congruent to angle E. Okay, they're both the same part of the triangle. And hopefully you were also able to see that EF is the same as BC. Okay, EF and BC and angle B and angle E. Okay, what about in this one? Which angle on triangle ABC is going to be 73 degrees if you look at them as being congruent figures? So take a second and see if you can identify it. Okay, so hopefully you were able to see that it was going to be angle A. Okay, angle A is going to be 73 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to start using some equations to find our missing side links. So you'll see that we have two congruent figures. Okay, we have triangle ABC and DEF, and we're going to use the information that they have there to be able to determine how to solve some equations and solve for our missing side lengths. So I'm going to actually pull up my other screen so that we can work through this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is it wants us to find the side AB. So this side right here is what we're looking for. Okay, so we need to determine what side on the other figure is the same side. So hopefully you recognize that the same side on the other figure is the side DE. And so now we know that that makes them equal. So we have 3x plus 8 is equal to 5x. And now we just have an equation that we can solve. So we are going to subtract 3x. 8 is going to be equal to 2x. If I divide by 2, it tells me that x is going to be equal to 4, but it doesn't ask us what x is equal to. It asks us what the side length is. So we have to take this and plug it into our side length. So 3 times 4 is 12. Sorry, I was off the page. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 8 is 20 inches. So that tells us that this side length is 20 inches. Okay, so we're going to do something similar now to find angle D. So again, we need to determine what angle on this side is going to be equal to D. So you should recognize that it is A. Okay, angle A is the same as angle D. So we are going to set these equal to each other. So 5y plus 11 is equal to 6y plus 2. We are going to get our y's together and get our numbers together, and we come up with y is equal to 9. But again, remember, we don't care about y, we care about what our angle is. And so we're looking for angle D. So that means we are going to plug it in to what D's equation is. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 2 is 56 degrees. So that tells us that our angle is 56 degrees. Now, as you're working through some of this stuff, make sure you remember that when you're solving for an angle, you always have to have a degree with it. Okay, and when you're solving for a side length, many times you'll have some sort of a unit of measure, inches, centimeters, something along those lines. Okay, so just take a second and see if you can set up the equation for LM to be able to find LM. So just pause for 30 seconds, see if you can find the equation. Okay, so let's see how we did. Okay, did you find that LM is equal to GH? And so by doing that, you know that 6x minus 13 is equal to 4x plus 3. Okay, so take a second again and see if you can get this solved. Take 10 seconds and solve it for x. Okay, so hopefully you got x is equal to 8 by the time you went through and solved it. But remember, that doesn't solve our entire question. It asks us to find the side length of LM. The side length is 6x minus 13, so we need to plug this x value in. So 6 times 8 minus 13. 6 times 8 is 48. Minus 13 is going to be 35 centimeters is going to be the length of LM. Okay, so now let's look at the second one. Okay, now we are going to try to find the measure of angle H. Okay, so take just 10 seconds and see if you can come up with what the equation is going to be for us to be able to solve this. Okay, so hopefully you were able to come up with the fact that angle H is the same as angle M. So our equation would be 9y plus 17 is equal to 11y minus 1. So now take another 10 or 15 seconds and see if you can solve this for y. Okay, so hopefully you got that y is equal to 9. Okay, y is equal to 9. But again, it didn't ask us for y. It actually asked us for the measure of angle h. So you'll notice that h was 9y plus 17, which means we need to take our y value and plug it in. So 9 times 9 plus 17, 81 plus 17, which tells us that our angle measure is 98 degrees. Okay, 98 degrees. Okay, so now you're going to try on this one. You're going to try to find JH, and then you're going to try to find the measure of angle D. So remember, find your two side lengths that are the same, and then do the connections that you need to do. So for this one, there shouldn't be any solving, just identifying. Same with this one, okay? Try this one. Again, there shouldn't be any solving for this one. We're just basically working on identifying for right now, okay? Which side is the same as PS and which angle is the same as R. Okay, so you'll notice now in our Google Classroom that there is an exit ticket for today. There's one question there for you to do to identify an angle and a side length. So go ahead and look at that exit ticket, make a copy of it. It is on a Google Doc, so make a copy of it or send me your answer at some point through Google Classroom or email. Okay, and let me know when you are finished with that. And if you're having any problems with this, if it's something that's really difficult for your brain, no worries. Show up to office hours so that I can walk you through this, and hopefully we'll be able to make it easier for you. Have a good day.